And it looks like this. So now, of course, we can start. Let it connect here, and here we are. So we start here, it should work. That's how it works. Okay, I think. This time everything works, maybe except for Rumble, because I see that Rumble still refused to stream live. But at least I saw that other live streams are probably working. This time. The frame rate is good, so I don't know exactly what is the result that Rambo wants to refuse something here. But let's see if it will be enough. Is everything okay in Polish? Okay. Everything is okay, so we can start. So I'm here, of course. You have it as you need it. And on these live streams, I discuss what happened on the cryptocurrency market, what I judge about it all, because I have 11 years of experience on this market. And of course, somewhere between the verses, I mention what Hitek is, which is my meme coin. Here, you have the mint address. By the way, if anyone is watching on in English-speaking channels, please keep in mind that this translation in real time is not perfect. Sometimes I will be worse, but you have to figure out what I really want to say with a little goodwill, that it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be particularly difficult, so I think we can start. Here, of course, let me switch it on. I don't know why there's a problem with the connection with Rumble. From what I've seen, it's from another. On this on X.com, I don't know master, everything is fine. There is even one person watching. And well, yes, this is definitely everything. So I don't know why this ramble is grumbling, but I'll leave it as it is, and, well, we're going with it. Matem tak więc kosz na rynku. Coś tam się dzieje, jakbyśmy włączyli crypto bubbles, no to widzimy, że definitely quite a lot of this green. It's really not bad when it comes to the market side. As you can see, coins, other coins, alternative coins, that they will take it this way and so on. If we take it to the trading view, we would see that my system has generated an entry at the level. $1,580, so at this moment this entry results in 10% profit over 10% profit. I think I'm happy there because I trade with this coin and well, it's cool. I don't know what kind of coin it is. I'm sure I don't trade with it. But when I checked it, it was like, if he traded it, I would also be in profit. Although here I don't know in what profit. Also plus 10%, please. Well, let's say that the news of the day is that Bitcoin generated an entry for me, as you can see. Here's the input signal. I repeat once again, if someone is watching this in English, then be patient with the translation that is now done, because it is not perfect. Sometimes I will be a little twisted to the translation. Sometimes it twists me a little. I translate badly. And you have to think a little. In relation to what is on the picture, not always, but sometimes you have to think a little about what is on the picture, what is displayed, what I really mean. I think it should be pretty good. But if someone wants me to record, directly in English without translation, then give me a follow, give me a subscribe, and then when I get together, let's say, this following of those watching a lot, then I will be doing these live streams directly in English and not without. I see that in the live chat on YouTube, there are already the first comments, they are replying. He wrote, hello, hi, Rapanurio. And well, Rapanurio is a faithful viewer of almost every live stream. Without a reason for an hour, so impressive. At this time, I do not expect too much of my time zone. It's just very late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 p.m. I'm sorry. 2 a.m. So 2 o'clock in the morning. It's very late, but I'm generally a nocturnal creature, and most of the time, let's say I spend my daily cycle at night, so for me, it is quite a natural environment. But let's get back to what we have. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live stream today. I will show the input signal here post factum. After some major movement has occurred, it is always well, it is not. So I'll receive that, so to speak, by those who follow. Let's say, how? My algorithms are working, but from the point of view of popularity, reputation. From the point of view of trust, so that's why I had an additional, let's say, such an additional pressure. Extra pressure to make this live stream. It's so late because I was struggling with this simultaneous translation. I'm looking for different compromises between speed, accuracy, and accuracy. You have to be able to balance it properly so that the effect is satisfying. And in the end, I decided on the convention as it is now, which is that the frequency is quite low. It's not bad, but sometimes it's a bit of a mess with the accuracy of this translation. That's why my Komunikatek stwierdziłem, że po prostu będę tu komunikował, że jeśli ktoś będzie oglądał po stronie anglojęzycznej, so that he would be informed that there is sometimes something wrong with the translation. So the title of this live stream is whether we go back to the game or not, as you can see from as soon as I have an entry signal on Bitcoin, the more I believe in the fact that we are on the way back to the game. I don't know, football or football in America, depending on who was watching, but well, as if relying on my own algorithm, which I wrote, which really has very good results when it comes to the cryptocurrency market. From where I have this input signal, it's very hard for me now to have some negative attitude to what I see here on the charts. I think that this increased the probability that we will actually bounce back. Yesterday I showed that we have a formation here. Here we have falling wedge, and I told you what the result of this formation is, what mechanics it has. What kind of psychology it has that these, let's say, falls, both falls and reflections, are getting smaller and smaller. And that's why we can have such a compression here, such a tightening of, let's say, the way the price behaves. And it results from the fact that we simply dive in. In the area of demand, in the area where the buyers are waiting, they have put up their purchase offers and they create more and more resistance here. And that's why this ground, this floor, may turn out to be too hard. for the sellers to break through, and that's why we can have a very strong reaction, a very strong bounce, and so far. I think we are at the beginning of this reaction. It is possible. Of course, I also remind you that we still have formation M here. You can also try to identify the opposite formation of Adam. So Adam and Eve to the top of their feet. So in this case, of course, this is also pair formation. Formation for falls, not the one we want, but this is what we have on the chart now. So it remains for us to count on this formation. Falling wedge formation, which is just a being, yes, which is just a being, and somewhere there. I think we will start to see the beginning of it. I am set. As you know, those who watch me know very well that I am set for growth and not for sport. I think that the market will go up. And not that it will fall, of course. We will see how it will be final. But it seems to me that it's not now, it's not the time of the year. The world liquidity is definitely too low. So that the big players now somehow let go of very large bags of individual investors. Because there is no one to take those big bags, those big positions that they have accumulated. So I believe that. Not now. That's why this reflection here is expected, and expected by me. Let's see what we have there on the market. In turn, altcoins here on the chart, as you can see also. Here too, the daily light is strongly pulling us up. In fact, from the formation of the falling triangle. As you can see here, we didn't go out yet. He is still in the course. It may still turn out that we will get. The target of this formation, we hope not, because it is a fall formation. But for now, at least we are getting closer to it. To the upper limit of this formation, and maybe we'll get this knockout. I think so. I think we will get it. Bit here. And what, so to speak, is currently showing up, is currently manifesting itself on Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin chart, not as a, because it should help, because it is known that altcoins like to follow what Bitcoin is doing. So this is what I would expect. Let's see the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance. But, for now, it also shows that the coin market is doing a little worse. In summary, of course. Average how Bitcoin itself, because Bitcoin domination, as you can see, is growing. And that's not what I want to see, but at least we can see that 58.6% of the level, as you can see. I will play as resistance. I will behave as resistance. So let it stay that way. The dominance of Bitcoin. Let it crash. Let it crash. Let the worst things happen here. Which we want it to look bad, to look terrible. Let's see. What's the dominance? There's dominance. Here we have a red day. The previous days were pretty good on this chart, as you can see. From this place here, where we took below 4.07%. After that, we had a ride and we went skiing. Again, this is not what we want to see on this chart. This chart is supposed to look like this. The worst, and at least today we get a red day, so let's say, maybe I'll give it to you. A little hopium for us, hope for us that it will be good, that we will have some rollover, some return. And we will turn back in the direction of the support that held us the previous time, and let's hope that this time it will not be out. And this time he won't hold it. Here we will have a rising wedge formation. So the formation of the rising wedge. Yesterday I used the word klinu, but it's not correct in Polish. I checked because I had doubts about whether I was saying it correctly. It turned out that I spoke incorrectly, but I have been living abroad for many, many years, so sometimes it happens to me to say something in my native language. And all those who live in the country, it also happens. Formation of the rising wedge, i.e. this is the formation of the bear. Theoretically, the target is also, let's say, 450%. So it's like playing with what we see on Bitcoin. Maybe not on altcoins, but at least on Bitcoins, so that Bitcoins should catch up a little bit, jump up a little bit, and automatically reduce the dominoes. USDT, USDT dominance. Okay. Let's see how the liquidation is going today, and how it all looks like today. On Bitcoin, most of the liquid shorts are 2 to 1, more 2 to 1 than the long shorts, which is cool. Ethereum, the situation is the other way around, so it's liquidated longs, like shorts, but only a little below $1 million difference, so a very small difference, yes, if it is below $1 million on such a large market. Ethereum is very, very, very little. So, but let's say, summarily, these are relatively low numbers on both of these assets, despite the fact that Ethereum theoretically should have much less liquidation than Bitcoin. I've been doing that a lot lately, so I think we've already got used to it. Someone wrote Magic Consultations here. You are a legend. Thanks to Magic Consultations, I see that there are 14 people in total. I watch it on the English-speaking side, so I'm very pleased. It's much more than on the Polish side. Currently, let it be so. Like, share, subscribe, follow if you haven't yet, if you're watching on Ixa or any other channel, on any other website or streaming portal where the subscription is called. Following is there, also mark follow. Let's see what we have here at the end. In market cap, how the index of fear, cryptocurrency fear and greed, looks like at 39. It's the same as yesterday, nothing has changed, but the index is lagging, it's delayed by 1 day. Probably due to what is happening here, as we can see on crypto bubbles, it is very green. Then for sure the score of this index will jump a little. I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 points maximum. We don't have more than that because we don't have such a burst here. We don't have such a pump here. We don't have it. The most important thing is that it has the HEFT, which has a complete password. It's called a password. For me, it doesn't change anything. Most of them, of course, I don't know what it is. Even Maker, I don't know what it is either. It doesn't bother me that my system. We traded on this horse so generally, as you can see. It's green. It's green coffee. Let's see what it looks like. As far as I know, the opening was very bad on the traditional market. We opened very low on S&P 500. As you can see, the gap is quite big. And from this time, I see that the market tried to maintain this level and somehow return to the game, so as you have seen, this day is. The beginning was not the best. In general, if we look at the daylight, we really keep the channel. I don't know why, but it's hard for me to draw it. Yes, okay, more or less yes. We're starting to create a rising wedge here, slowly, but still to make it. It's clear that we lack a lot of it. Personally, I think that it will go on for a long time, until the deep November, when we'll probably have something clearly drawn on this chart, some formation with a bear here. Until November. And I repeat this every day, a dozen or so times, but I still don't have that much experience. There are a lot of new audiences, so it's for the new ones who are hearing me for the first time. November will be good. It should be good until November. We can have a negative change in the course, we can have corrections, but generally, I will repeat it again just in case it would be better to translate it to November. It should be good. So yes, and of course I encourage you to invest in my meme coin. It's called RTT. This is my meme coin, and you have a link to Puri Purnosti in the description of this live stream, and there I encourage you to invest something small, of course. To join the club but not to stress, it is very important. And I think that the market has a lot of growth in front of it. I repeat, I think that the market has a lot of growth. No, so if someone sympathizes with me and thinks that my materials are interesting, then let them. They didn't think about blocking something unnecessary, something small, so as not to stress themselves. So this is how it looks from the perspective of Tuesday, because today is Tuesday. So it's only the second day of the week, really, very, very early. It's true that I already have Wednesday at 2 o'clock, at 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's not Wednesday anymore, but for a large part of the world it's still Tuesday. It wasn't the worst day. Wednesday can be boring, maybe a little bit. Thursday, we'll probably see a little bit more. From what the market wants to do, where it wants to go, probably. And it will give us direction for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday will give us the direction for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's switch again. Let's see how it looks on Bitcoins at slightly longer intervals. As you can see, after the previous week's candle, this candle here, it didn't close very well. It was very red. In fact, it looks ugly. But the positive in all of this is that if we were to define M as the information that is the formation of a bear, after the bodies of the flowers here, in this body of flowers, in this form, it would mean that we've reached the target of the bear formation here. The target has been achieved. So as if this fall was supposed to be. And we should not have any further decline. Theoretically, of course, just looking at this excerpt after this fragment. Here. And the Wednesday of the week that we currently have, this one here for now, is not very important. Of course. But it is green, and it is only Tuesday. There are only 2 days when this candle is lit. He draws, he creates here, so it's still very early. But for now, the beginning looks good. Let's see how the monthly candle will finally close, because at the end of the month, I did not discuss what this monthly candle looks like. Well, it was in August. It was red, as you can see, but not so terribly red. I mean, it had a higher peak and higher bottom here. And also during this time, the all-time high happened, which is the highest record price level in history, so this candle can be interpreted from this side as a candle, despite the fact that it is red. And this September, as for now, the light of September, I will say that in September, of course, there are only 3 days. This is a very early stage of the interpretation of this world. For now, it's green. At least we have a good start, and as you know, September is the month that is statistically the worst month. For cryptocurrency, which does not mean that every September was bad. Absolutely not. Not every September was bad. There were September that were pretty cool. On September 12th. I think what we have on the available charts, but I remember well, we have +4. So I will check. I think it was 12. How many light years we have? How many light years we have here? Historical chart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, not 15. Sorry. 15.8. From what I remember, we had for 15 worlds, for 15 years. When it comes to Bitcoin, it's 8.8. We had negative ones, and it turns out that the rest was positive, as I saw with others. On the tables, where there was a set that this September is not the best, unless it was 4 September months for 15, and not. It's also possible. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. But 4 were good. 4 were definitely good, even if. And for 15 years, there were only 4 good years for September. It means that not every September is bad. That once in a while, a good September comes. So there is always a chance that this September will also be a good month. And I say, for now, we are 3 days in September. See you in September. We are still on the green, so it's a good start. Okay, let's get back to interval to the daily candle, because the annual candle is already a really big candle. Well, let's see. I don't know how Ethereum is doing. What is Ethereum doing? Ethereum also noticed me yesterday. So it also has a formation. Descending triangle, so it's not the best one here. So you can speculate that. It's formation M. So the next bearish formation, and well, so we have a larger number of bears in the formation and a smaller number of bears in the formation. Trends are uptrend, so in such conditions, there is a potential for reformation. Which other formations of the bears will be denied? I will repeat it again just in case, to explain it better. When the overriding trend is growing, it has the potential to be denied by non-bearing formations. Of momentum, of impetus, of potential, of what is now being, let's say, released. So, let's see if we still have Magica Sultana. He wrote, I speak Polish too. So congratulations in this way. You speak Polish? I'm curious, because it turns out that you're watching Rumble, right? If you're watching Rumble, I'm really curious how you take it from the other side, since you decided to watch it in the English version. I'm curious how you react to it on the other side. I see that 16 people are watching live the English version. It's very cool. And I remind you that this interpreter does not translate very well. Sometimes I misinterpret some things. That's why I repeat myself with some questions just in case, to make sure that it's the right meaning. Because sometimes he can even open something, translate something. But unfortunately, this is the case when it comes to translating, practically in real time, because it's only a 20-second delay. 20 seconds delay is between what they say in Polish and what is said in Polish. English, so in fact it is relatively small. It seems that it can be quite a lot, but in fact it is relatively small. Okay, let's see what we have on X in the meantime. At Ilona Maska, what do we have here? And, well, analysis, of course we have market analysis. Here we have as you can see, we have an analysis of altcoins, altcoin market cap, and we have an increase projection. Yes, here we have an increase projection. To make this a trader, I agree with you. I agree that Alkaheni should absolutely. I think that we should experience very aggressive growth because we are going very, very far. The bear market of altcoins has already been stretched so much because despite the fact that it is exactly on these altcoins, that the bear market of altcoins has already been stretched so much because despite the fact that it is exactly on these altcoins. This is the pattern that we always discuss, so I'm talking about this pattern here. Here, in general, we are in the growth trend. Yes, I mean, we have a higher peak, higher bottom on this chart. Here, we are really in a rising trend. We have higher peaks, higher bottoms. And here it looks like they did a good job, but remember that this chart is composed of what is on Binance. Of what is on the Binance Stock Exchange, and this stock exchange makes quite a large rotation of various coins. And that's why the image that we have here, which presents this drawing to us, it is quite manipulated. It doesn't look as good as it is presented here. So most of the coins in this very deep bear market, and this bear market is really it lasts for years, and the longer this e-market lasts, the more the potential for growth accumulates. Potential for the market is high. The more we go sideways, the more nothing happens on a given coin, the more. In fact, it has accumulated potential, and I explained it yesterday that it comes from market mechanics, and how the capital moves from the so-called weak hands to the strong hands, and why it has to end up like this. That a given coin just shows a very aggressive growth. The so-called pump, as the scene calls it. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Scott Bezant, as you can see, Bitcoin is one of the most valuable. There are many important things in the world, so a very serious statement, a big one. I would say Ponstrand. Tomali claims that he will reach an evaluation of up to $15,000 for one Ethereum. To the end of the year. I don't think it would be like that, but of course they are investing in Ethereum. They have a lot of Ethereum, so what else will they say? Of course they will say that Ethereum will do very well, to stimulate the Ethereum market to grow and expect nothing else from them. That's all. We don't find out about the new one, unfortunately. Well, here's another analysis where, as you can see, we have a breakdown from the drop channel. And this trader, of course, is happy that his analysis here, so far, results positively, that he looks like he was right. Well, it's about me. You already know that I got a coupon signal from Bitcoin on the charts. Shopping, and we'll see what it will be now, by the way. I like such positions as they are now. What do I have on Bitcoin now? I like this position because... I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Because the last time I went to Bitcoin once says, I'll show you where the last exit was. It was here, so I had an exit here at this moment, and an exit here, so much lower, which means that lower. If Bitcoin was sold and bought here, it means it was bought cheaper. And if it was bought cheaper, it means that the same amount of Bitcoin was sold and bought here. It means that the same amount of Bitcoin was sold and bought here. The same amount of capital